Just a few hours ago, there was easily 1,000 people standing on the steps of the Capitol, shoulder to shoulder, not wearing masks, protesting the State House here to talk about how they want to reopen the economy. One car that just drove by that I saw had a sign along the window that says the COVID-19 emergency is over, reopen Pennsylvania. But the State Health Department very strongly advocating against that as we're seeing an uptick in cases.
Only 12% of Americans think it is not likely that there would be a surge in COVID-19 infections if everyone in America suddenly went back to work tomorrow. From that 12%, there has sprung up a tiny, and I mean tiny, band of protesters who represent just a very, very tiny fraction of 1% of the population, way, way, way less than 1% of the population, a few thousand people across the country at most in a country of 330 million people.
They've taken something and blown it so far out of proportion that it's destroying our country. Leave us alone. Let us live our lives. They're supposed to be servants of the people, and they're not. They're being tyrants of the people.
The president's policy says you can't start to reopen under his plan until you have declining numbers for 14 days, which those states and my state do not have. So then to encourage people to go protest the plan that you just made recommendations on Thursday, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yesterday in Denver, Colorado, this is what happened when a nurse stood at an intersection to block protesters to remind people of the human toll of all this. Go to China. The entire phenomenon seems reverse engineered to solve a very obvious political problem, which is this. The country right now is going through literally unprecedented economic devastation and misery and mass death at a scale that's impossible to contemplate, while the conservative base's beloved leader is at the helm of all of it. So there's got to be someone else to blame.
There's a reason why these governors are saying what they're saying and why they put in place, yes, strong and some would even say draconian measures, but it is to protect families and communities and to save lives. They're not acting out of some governmental malice or some desire to, have people lose their jobs. That's the last thing they want.
I was talking with the mother earlier of 4 who was out here with her kids. She said that she and her kids are still going to the grocery store with no masks on. Back over here, we're trying to keep some distance away, but over there, you have at least 200 folks that are all standing right next to each other at this time. Over here to our left, too. I was just talking with the gentleman and whether he was actually concerned about spreading COVID-19. And he was telling me that he believes that it is being overblown and overhyped, the number of cases that is, suggesting that hospitals are using heart-related deaths or cancer-related deaths to add to those COVID-19 numbers as a way of shutting down business. I said, what about President Trump, though, calling for social distancing, which the folks here are not doing, frankly, Brian. And he told me that it is rhinos, it is folks like Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx that are getting the best of President Trump right now.
Look, if you're going out and thinking about protesting, I want you to think about this. If you don't care about infecting yourself, understand that your police, your fire and rescue have better things to do than to babysit you because you're angry that you can't go out for an ice cream or get your hair done. So think about who you're exposing. Secondly, where this is all headed, the president has linked this stay-at-home issue to the Second Amendment. Remember that tweet in Virginia? Liberate Virginia. Mm-hmm. Your Second Amendment is under siege. That's going to motivate the crazies amongst us to do some very ugly things, and law enforcement's got to hunker down for that.
Most of these Facebook events, we tracked, more than 75 of them across the country. It started popping up on April 10th. So the question is, what was happening in right-wing media before April 10th? And some of the most highly trafficked videos on the 9th, and a few days before him, but on the 9th in particular, was Tucker Carlson and other Fox News segments calling for an end to the national lockdown, making an impassioned plea about liberty. And it's an important point because one of the things that took place in those few days before you started to see these events beginning to pop up was that Fox News stopped making the argument. I mean, they were still saying it, but originally they were saying we have to be willing to sacrifice grandma and grandpa for the sake of the economy. But they made a switch. And, starting on April 7th, April 8th, April 9th, they started saying that it's not about the economy, it's about liberty and freedom. And that's why we need to end these national lockdowns. And immediately after is when you started to see these things popping up.
That's the space that we oftentimes, Andrea, look to a president to give us clarity, to give us a sense of purpose, and to say to the American people, yeah, this is going to be tough, but I'm going to need y'all to stay home for a little bit, all right? We're going to work with the governors to get this right. We're going to give them the resources they need. We're going to give them the tests they need so that they can help you get back to work. But that's not what this president has done. Instead, he stands up and goes, well, I see more American flags out there, and that's a great thing. These people want to go to work. Yes, go to work and die? Go to work and get sick? What is the point of that?
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.